All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome. I'd like to welcome you to the Warwick Town Board meeting for May 22nd. If you'd all please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order on. Would the clerk please call roll?
Supervisor Dwyer?
Here.
Councilman Cole?
Here.
Councilman D'Angelo?
Here.
Councilman Manuel?
Here.
Councilman Schuback?
Here. Thank you. So we have a very special presentation tonight. It was going to be a brief presentation until the chief told me that he had 3 pages of prepared remarks, but that's okay. It is a very special occasion, and we're proud to have everybody here for it. As obviously everybody here knows, some of you might not, over the last week we've conducted interviews within our police department to promote 2 detectives. And the 2 detectives are here tonight as well as their family. And I was fortunate to be a part of the interviews that interviewed 14 patrolmen within our police department. And the chief will go into greater detail about our experience and the qualifications of these candidates. But I just wanted to say that to those who applied and who interviewed before me, as well as Councilman Cole, you guys poured your heart and soul into that interview. Not only were you extremely prepared, but you left us incredibly proud of the men and women that we have within our police department. Every single one of you has given something, a part of your life, to this department. You have contributed something special to the community and to the public. You have constantly improved your training, your skills, everything for the benefit of our town. We couldn't be prouder to have you as officers, and we're so grateful that each of you took the time to interview before us so that I could learn a little bit more about you. And in addition to learning more about them individually, I learned a lot about our police department. I learned a lot of things that I had no idea that you guys did. But in their interview, they had a great opportunity to give us a presentation and explain to us not only what details about themselves, but about their partners, their investigations, their training, their personal life, which I found fascinating. It was a great experience for someone that runs the town of Warwick to really get that level of knowledge on their employees, and it's not something that you get often. And I take it very seriously what each of you shared with me in that interview committee, and I appreciate each of your sincerity and the work that you guys put into it. But tonight is about 2 individuals, and we will be appointing 2 individuals to the position of detective. And those 2 individuals had to rise above the others in some manner, which I can tell you was extremely difficult to do. We had 14 candidates apply for these 2 positions, and each of them had something so unique to bring to the table. It was a very difficult task to pick 2 that stood out. They were all impressive and all incredible. But Bob Kenny and Joe Kennedy, you guys stood out among 14 incredible officers, and you guys deserve every bit of what you're getting. And we're so lucky to have you guys as committed as you are to the town of Warwick. So at this time, I will make a motion to promote Police Officer Robert Kenny to the position of Town of Warwick Detective at Step 7, as specified in the PBA Collective Bargaining Agreement, at a pay rate of $51.76 per hour, effective May 24, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion to promote Police Officer Joseph Kennedy to the position of Town of Warwick Detective at Step 5, as specified in the PBA Collective Bargaining Agreement, at a pay rate of $50.18 per hour, effective May 24, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Congratulations to the 2 of you. Well done. And at this time, I would like to introduce Chief John Rader to also make a presentation.
Lieutenant Morley, if you could join me up here, please. So I'm just going to start off by saying, as the supervisor said, I did have a 3-page prepared document to go over tonight, and I hit print and it went away. So tonight it's going to be from the brain and from the heart for our police department, not just the two that we're about to recognize, but for the entire department. Before I begin, I'd like to recognize some of our retirees that are in the room. Chief McGovern. And Detective Cisco. And I also want to thank the town board, specifically Supervisor Dwyer and Councilman Cole, for sitting through the 2 days of interviews that we did, but also for the board in their support of the decisions that we made and the continued growth of our police department. So thank you all for that. Now comes the other part. So as the supervisor touched on, we had interviews that were conducted over a 2-day period, Monday and Tuesday. We put the announcement up that we were looking to appoint a detective or detectives in April. And it was no surprise when 14 of our officers stepped up and put their names in the ring. That's no surprise at all. The surprises came during the interview process right here in the town hall. We met a week before the interviews, a little less than a week. We talked about what our expectations were for when they come up here. And that was that they were going to present a 10 to 15 minute story. They're going to talk about themselves in whatever manner they wanted. Part of the interview process, if we just asked our prepared questions, we could be missing out on so many valuable things that they wanted us to know about them. So the interview starts off with them telling us everything that they wanted us to know, that they left the room with no regrets, that our panel, which consisted of Supervisor Dwyer, Councilman Cole, myself, Lieutenant Morley, Detective Tetzloff, and Detective Brazier, they would have no regrets that there was nothing that that panel should know about them that they weren't able to tell. It's uncomfortable. They were talking about themselves. They were talking about the work that they do. Police officers are very private about our work. I think our families know that. Everyone will say, "How was your day?" We're like, "It was good." We really don't say much. They had to say something for 10 to 15 minutes about their work, about their families, about their life, their childhood, whatever they wanted us to know. We started this process a couple of years ago with interviews. Knowing our department the way I do, I felt like this was good for the other members of the panel. I've learned something about every single officer every time they get up, and I can't be more impressed with the group of officers that you see here and the ones that couldn't be here tonight. Anyway, they did that. Then they were asked a bunch of questions, one from each of us on the panel, and then the interview concluded. Each one was about 25 to 30 minutes, so times 14. We spent a lot of time in this room, but every minute was well worth it. They were asked about cases that they may have worked. We listened to case after case after case, traffic stops that they conducted, calls, walk-ins, people who walked into our station to report something, and the level of service that they left with, the amount of follow-up that our officers do, the persistence that they have in trying to solve everybody's problem that comes across our work here. We heard about traffic stops where drugs were seized. One traffic stop resulted in the arrest of somebody with 300 bags of heroin on them. 300 bags. Had that officer not stopped that car and dug a little bit deeper and saw those signs that something was wrong, how many people and how many lives would have been affected had that product been delivered into our community? Another officer stopped somebody that had 2 loaded AR-15s, high-capacity rifles. We don't know what we stopped that day, but we're pretty confident we stopped something very tragic. This is just some of the work that they do. It could be a senior citizen that came in whose life savings was just scammed away by somebody, and the work that they put in to try to get it back. But the next part that we learned is, besides the police work that they do, is what they give back to our department. We have drill instructors here at the academy, certified instructors that go up and teach, PT instructors. We have members of the tactical response team, which are SWAT operators. They're SWAT-trained officers. Firearms instructors, child safety seat technicians. The list went on, and all we did and I think the panel would agree with me, was hear more and more of how much they don't just come to work, they go to work every time, and they ask for more. So the interview process was difficult. The decision was difficult. But at no time did I want anyone to say to me, man, I really feel sorry for you having to make that decision. Everyone should be happy that we have such a caliber of officers that the decision was tough. And I couldn't be prouder of every single one of them, and I'm especially proud of the two that the panel unanimously selected. So at this time, I would like to ask Officer Joseph Kennedy and his wife Nicole to come forward. Officer Kennedy started with our department as a part-time police officer in 2015, except for, he went full-time in 2017, I believe, and except for a little short period where we lost him for a bit, Joe's been a dedicated officer. He is the chief drill instructor at the Orange County Police Academy. He's molding the next generation of police officers that are going to be on our streets all over Orange County. Joe's a recipient of the Medal of Valor. He was a member of our narcotics unit for a while, and the list goes on with him. Tonight, I'd ask his wife, Nicole, to pin his new shield, Detective Number 1, on his uniform.
Thank you.
At this time, I'd like to ask Officer Bob Kenny and his wife Allie to come forward. Officer Kenny came to us he was a sergeant with the New York State Park Police. Officer Kenny has a list of certifications from General Topics Instructor, Critical Incident Stress Management, Emergency Vehicle Operations. That list goes on of what he's certified in. But he, again, is an officer who doesn't just come to work and show up. He goes to work when he gets here. For a short period over this year, he was on light duty due to an injury, and instead of staying home and nursing it, he came to work every day and produced so much of the administrative work that we have to do that he was voluntold that he's now our accreditation manager for the department. The accreditation manager job, he's got to now make sure that we maintain over 110 standards of excellence every day in our work. So it's no small task, but he stepped up for it. Bob was a school resource officer at the middle school, where he affected the lives of countless children with his positive attitude and his dedication to the community, including helping us with the Junior Police Academy as an instructor. Some of the talents that he's shown makes it no doubt in my mind that he'll be an excellent detective. So at this time, I'll ask his wife, Allie, to pin the shield Detective Number 4 on his uniform. Thank you. So in closing, I just want to remind everybody why I started with recognizing our retirees, especially for our younger officers. If it wasn't for the dedication and the professionalism of the people we have in this room and the ones that have retired before us, we wouldn't be standing where we are today and be the department that we are today. I want to thank the town board again for their support in this and everything that we do. And I want to wish our two new detectives a safe, healthy, and productive career in your new endeavor. Thank you very much. Unless everybody's here to hear the rest of the business of the town board, we are having a reception downstairs in the police station for everyone, and the board's invited after the meeting. Thank you.
Everybody's going to stay, right? We have a riveting town board meeting coming up. It's just an agenda. You could speak when we get to you. Yeah. Yeah, you don't need. Yeah, it'll be kind of at the end. There's privilege of the floor and anything. Well, that's always a fun experience. One of the question that I asked of the applicants was, what would you change about the Warwick Police Department or the town of Warwick? And how would we go about changing that? And I realized when creating that question that it would be one of the most difficult questions that they would have to answer, because they had to answer it in front of their superior officers and the chief. And we have a chief that is an absolute perfectionist and strives for excellence and has made great strides to improve the department. So it was very fascinating, the different answers that we got. Most were technology related, and as we've seen, the chief has made incredible strides in improving the technology of our department. So very interesting to see how that turned out. All right, I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from the public hearing on May 8th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion to accept the regular meeting minutes from May 8th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion that we pay all audited bills.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Board's correspondence is listed in the packet. Everybody's been sent the correspondence. Any discussion from the board on correspondence?
No.
Okay. We are going to forego the police chief's report. I believe he gave us a very nice summary of what he's been up to for the last couple of weeks, so we'll move right into DPW Commissioner Astorino.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Glasses. Happens.
Especially when you get old.
Thank you for that. Appreciate you pointing that out. Okay. We've been busy on Hunt Drive. We are vacuuming and repairing numerous basins. We did some cleaning. That is one road that's going to be paved this year. So we want to make sure before it's paved, everything is up and running properly there. We cut some trees out there, cut the roadsides back. We have a few more basins left to go. We will get them done probably this next coming week. Drainage work on Old Ridge Road, we had 2 drainage structures that were in disrepair. We repaired those. Tree work, we had a couple of large trees that we had to take down with the bucket truck on West Ridge and Ackerman Road. The sweeper is out every day on all town roads. Mowing, we are mowing cul-de-sacs every week. Hopefully we'll get them done tomorrow if the rain stops. Ball fields, again, the guys, we put a couple extra guys from DPW over there this week to catch up to get the ball fields all mowed. Again, with the rain, it's been quite difficult to keep up on a schedule. Potholes, we're out with hot mix, filling on a daily basis. We're hauling material to the stockpile for cold mix paving, which is at Union Corners Park again. You will see a pile of stone. There'll be 1,400 ton of stone there, and that is for Mount E Flats. We'll be cold mix pave that. Give you an update on the FEMA projects, Old Ridge Road, the retaining wall. All the block is in place. Probably another 3 or 4 days of some paving, cleanup work and such, and that project, the guide rail will be put up within 10 days to 2 weeks, and that project will be completed. Then on to Ball Road. Keep the board informed. That road will be closed. We were out there today. The gas service, there was a question about where the gas service was moved. That is completely worked out. The overhead wires, we met with O&R this week for the overhead wires. That has been worked out with them. I'd like to say Orange and Rockland has been a pleasure to work with throughout this entire process, especially on Ball Road where it's very difficult. And we are preparing for paving, as I said, and we just asked the residents for our support. We're out and about on the roads every day. There will be some delays here and there, but we will get you through them and get everything done up to speed. Any questions?
Any questions?
Rescheduling the resurfacing of the tennis courts in Pine Island?
That was pushed back to the end of May. I haven't heard any more. Whether they, with this weather, I'm sure it's pushed all the paving contractors back. So last I heard it was,
May 28th to the 30th.
yeah, and I'm sure that's going to get pushed a couple of days because I'm sure they are all backed up.
Very rainy, yeah.
Yeah, it's what it is. And we did, as you guys selected last week for the striping of Airport Park. We are, again, the theme of the night is the rain. We have to get topsoil around a new playground. We just cannot do it in this weather. The topsoil is completely muck, and we just cannot get it out there right now.
Great. Any other questions? Thanks,
you.
Ben. I made a deal with Matt, our DPW Deputy Commissioner, and I said, if you go out and get more income surveys from Wickham Village and the Wickham Sewer District, then you do not have to come to the town board meeting. And he chose to go around and get income surveys in the rain, the pouring rain. I thought the board meetings were great, but apparently he'd rather do anything other than come here. So he chose to do that, and I will announce a little bit later in my report why it was so important that he go out and do that. So we have a very fantastic update to report on the Wickham Sewer District project shortly. So we'll go right into Recreation Director Sam Walter.
Thank you, Supervisor. So my report is mainly about Mountain Lake Park. The pools are scheduled to open on Saturday. We'll see how the weather is. If I do need to close the pools, I'll make a post on the Town of Warwick's Facebook page. The Department of Health came out for the pre-op inspection, and the pools look great and passed the inspection. And the lifeguard orientation also went really well. We did schedule a second lifeguard orientation for May 30th, just to catch anybody that didn't make the first orientation. Just a reminder that now's the best time to purchase your pool passes because it's the preseason price, and that goes up in June. We've been working a lot at the park on the bunkhouses, getting those ready for the Legoland employees. And we wanted to thank the supervisor and the DPW commissioner for sending over the DPW crew from Greenwood Lake, who was really helpful in moving a lot of heavy furniture for us. So dressers and couches, and they did a great job. Thank you. And then lastly, on June 5th is the Warwick Food Truck Festival at the park. It's from 4 to 10 p.m. It's a great event run by the local nonprofit organization called Small Things. We had the Village of Warwick help us out with lending us, or is going to help us out with lending us portable stage area for the bands. The Orange County Sheriff's Office is lending us a light tower. There'll be the Warwick Police Department and EMS out at the festival. So it's a great work by all the local organizations helping each other out for a great community event. So we hope that you come out for some great food, some music, and lots of fun with friends and family. That's it.
Great. Any questions for Sam? No. Thank you, Sam. All right, we'll move right into town board reports, beginning with Councilman D'Angelo.
Okay, good evening. With the Warwick Valley Humane Society, they have an employment opportunity. They You must love animals and be 21 years old or older, with a clean driver's license and background, able to lift 50 pounds and work well with others. Job includes feeding, cleaning, medicating, and socializing with shelter pets, picking up stray and injured animals, and vet runs, etc. You can send a resume to warwickhumane@yahoo.com. And the shelter is in constant need of paper towels and paper plates. They have quite a list of dogs here for adoption. For example, Maggie, an eight-year-old female shepherd mix, or Audie, a 2-year-old male husky, and they have a great number of dogs available. Plus cats, kittens, rabbits, gerbils, and parakeets. Applications are available at wvhumane.org. That's all I have for the Humane Society. As far as the Friendly Visitor Program goes, for the month of April, the number of neighbors assisted was 18. The number of volunteers assisting those neighbors was 17, for an incredible number, a total number of 147 different services for the month of April. Now, the Warwick Friendly Visitor Program is in constant need of trained volunteers, and they're having in June, 2 virtual training sessions. One on June 18th at 10 a.m. and one at June 25th at 5 p.m. Now, the best thing to do is to contact the, the Friendly Visitor Program at 845-986-1124, extension 400, and leave a message, because pre-approval is required to attend a training. So you have to contact them for an application. And that's all I have.
Great. Thank you. Councilman Cole, your report, please.
Thank you. As the supervisor said, we did the job interviews for the detectives this week, and it was, as he said, very, very difficult because of the high qualifications of everybody. It wasn't anybody there that wouldn't have made an excellent detective. It was extraordinarily hard to pick somebody, and I think we did a good job of picking, but any of them would have been superb. And that's about all I have for my report. Thank you.
Okay. Councilman Mattingly, your report, please.
Thank you, Supervisor Dwyer. The Warwick Valley Country Club's 5th annual golf outing at Great Gorge Country Club is tomorrow, Friday, May 23rd, and is sold out. Thank you, sponsors, volunteers, and participants. The espresso mixer at Sweet D's in the village of Warwick is scheduled for Thursday, June 12th from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at 16 McEwen Street in Warwick. Join us and the Warwick Valley Chamber at Sweet D's, mingle, network, make new friends, enjoy tasty treats and coffee, and step into that summertime feeling. Etched in Time is celebrating their 20th anniversary here in Warwick and hosting an open house from 4 to 6 p.m. on Thursday, May 29th. Celebrate this momentous milestone with them at 58 Main Street in Warwick. The Peach Grove House ribbon cutting is finally coming up on June the 5th. That's a Thursday at 5 p.m. After a year of tender loving care, join us to celebrate the reopening of this iconic Warwick landmark. In Greenwood Lake, the Greenwood Lake Chamber is holding the Greenwood Lake Street Fair on Saturday, June 14th from 11 a.m. until 5 p.m. on Windermere Avenue. Vendor space is still available. Visit gwlnychamber.com/events for more information. In the Village of Florida, the Chamber of Commerce is holding a Cars and Coffee open house at GCD Auto Studio located at 9 Industrial Drive in the Village of Florida on Saturday, June the 7th. Show off your classic and custom cars while networking with Chamber members and other car enthusiasts. In addition, the Florida Chamber has updated particularly their events page. Visit floridanychamber.com to get a full list of community and member events this month, and visit the Pine Island Chamber at pineislandny.com/events for a full list of community and member events. And that is my report for this evening.
Thank you. Councilman Schuback, your report, please.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Also, too, Pine Island Firehouse is having their golf outing tomorrow, and that's another sold-out event, which is always a good time. And that's all I have to say.
Great. Town Clerk Astorino.
I have a whole bunch of bids. Let's see, the first one starts with the bid proposal for Mountain Lake Park for the water infiltration project. Our first was from Jory Excavating, Inc. for $161,000. The second was Dave's Lawn Care for $208,350. The third was Tom's Excavating LLC for $252,330. The fourth was Ground Control Excavating for $283,748. And the last was Eberhart Excavation LLC for $350,850. Our second bid proposal for a modification to the two existing pools at Mountain Lake Park comes from Royal Pool Construction for a proposal of $109,000. The second is WVC Group for $159,000. The last is Five Star Pool, Inc. for a proposal of $95,300. There was also a bid proposal for the wading pool at Mountain Lake Park from the same three companies. Royal Pools was $229,000, WVC was $405,000, and Five Star Pools was $367,000. The next proposal was for repairs to the mechanical room at the Mountain Lake Park. The first was Royal Pools Construction for $127,000, second WVC Group for $29,000, and Five Star Pools, Inc. for $114,500. The next bid proposal are for porta potty rentals for the water infiltration and drainage improvement project at the Mountain Lake Park and Art Center for a period of 3 months. First is United Rentals for $517.88. The second is United Site Services for $551.63. And the last is Continental Site Services for $1,197. The next proposal is also for the water infiltration and drainage improvement project for a construction fence. And the first is C&S Fencing for $8,871.20. The second is National Construction Rentals for $9,235.45. And the last is Federal Rent a Fence for $3,784.17. The last bid proposal is for an ADA access ramp for also the water infiltration and drainage improvement project at the park. The first is from Bristol Industries of Pennsylvania. Their proposal was for $5,949.98 to buy the ramps or rent them for $4,307.20 for 3 months. The second is Ravens Marine. The bid proposal was to buy it for $15,345. And the last was from Service Scaffold Company. This was also for rental for 3 months, $15,110.47. That's all I got.
All right, my report is essentially an update that I present to the town board during our public workshop, and then I will essentially go over it during our public meeting as well. To say that the last 2 weeks have been busy would be an extreme understatement. On top of a busy period of time right now, I compounded that by adding 40 interviews over a 5-day period, not only for our 2 police officers that became detectives, but also for a position within our friendly visitor program. So here's an update of some of the active projects we have, which Ben and Sam mentioned some of. The Mountain Lake Park pool bids, which were read by the town clerk. We will be adopting a resolution tonight to accept one component of the pool bid, but we only got them this week, so there is still some due diligence that needs to be done to review the bids and make sure that they meet the specifications that we posted, and also vetting the contractors that submitted the bids. The water infiltration project is another project at Mountain Lake Park where, again, these buildings, which, by the way, a portion of Mountain Lake Park is eligible to be listed on the National Historic Registry. We just found that out doing a SHPO application for our grant, so that's an interesting thing that we have to look at and consider. But just found that out. Another surprise, if you will. We love surprises around here. We get them all the time. So the water infiltration project is a major project to preserve the buildings in Mountain Lake Park. It's an investment that we've committed to preserve both the infrastructure as well as the safety, railings, ADA accessibility, and various other upgrades. So we are accepting a bid tonight to begin that project, and this is a project where we have to thread the needle because it's very, very busy up there. Starting in April, May, the park becomes consumed with people using it, which is a great thing. That's what we want, but this work can only really be done when the weather is nice. And unfortunately, that means that we have to kind of work around people and get a job done. So it's going to be a little bit tricky, and I'm sure Sam is going to have a great time managing that. But we'll do the best we can to support you, Sam. The bike hike project is right on schedule. We had anticipated that it would be completed between the middle or end of June, and the final components of the bridge that will cross over Longhouse Creek by Cascade Road is coming in the beginning of June, so that project should be wrapped up, and we look forward to having a nice ribbon cutting for the bike hike project. The Jane Street Bridge project is another one that's we've been talking about for a really long time. Again, it's right on track. It's in the design phase right now. Our projected timeline for this project, and again, this is projected, we are working with state and federal funds, but the projected timeline is that we have the design completed by the fall. We go out to bid in the winter when contractors are looking for work, and then we start the project in the spring. That is an ideal and perfect scenario. We're going to try our best to hit those targets. Route 94's multi-use trail. This is a partnership that we have with the Village of Warwick and the Town of Warwick, where we're doing a feasibility study to look at creating a multi-use trail in the 94 corridor connecting the Village of Warwick with the Price Chopper ShopRite area. We find that there are a lot of people that are walking along the shoulder there in a very dangerous manner, and this could potentially create a safer mode of transportation for those who may not have a car and they still need to either get to work in Price Chopper ShopRite or that development, or vice versa, and they need to come back into downtown. So we're working on the feasibility study for that. We met with all the stakeholders in the area, and we're continuing to do some outreach to make sure that this is something that would make sense for the community and make sure that it is something that can create a safe trail for all the people to enjoy. Pine Island water system, I gave the board an update on the well. As I'm sure many of you have heard by now, we've been in the process of installing a new well in the Pine Island Water District. They only have one well right now, and redundancy is a requirement. It is a state Department of Health requirement to have more than one well for the exact case that we had today, where one of our wells was down and water pressure was completely eliminated in that water district. So we had to bring in a tanker. We're literally about a week away from getting the second well online, and if we had been a week earlier, then the well would have been online and we would not have had to do what we did today. So again, just updating the board on exactly what's going on throughout the town and our districts. Commissioner Astorino went over the FEMA culverts, so I won't reiterate that. A big situation that we've all been looking forward to is the Route 94 paving project. The state has committed to paving from the Jersey border on Route 94 all the way to the Florida line and then beyond. They're actually going to go into Goshen as well. And then they're also going to come from Oakland Avenue down 17A, down Galloway, and basically hit the Belleville Bridge, right, which is another bridge that's scheduled to be repaired, completely replaced. I don't even want to talk about that yet because that's just going to give me a headache to think about that traffic nightmare. So this Route 94 paving, we had originally been told by the state that it will be done in 2025, and the roads will be completely paved, and the roundabout will be installed, and everything would be done in 2025. Well, they gave us a nice surprise earlier this week when we met with the contractors who won the bid for this project, when they said there is no way that this will ever get done anywhere near close to 1 year, and it is likely that the project will go 25, 26, and be completed in 2027. So I know many of you don't like potholes. I hope that you remember the potholes when you're sitting in traffic, because that's why they're doing it. They're investing a lot of money. It's going to be a very frustrating process, but rest assured by 2027 we will have brand new roads all throughout the town of Warwick, but it will be quite an obstacle to get to that final phase. They're going to provide us with weekly updates. That was one of the requirements that I had. We understand that things change, but the DOT as well as the contractor will be providing us with weekly updates, and we will constantly update our website and Facebook, letting the residents know about road closures and other situations that may be impacted by this road work. All right, the Wickham Sewer District. This is something that we have been talking about extensively for the last 15, 16 months. We have, for those who don't know, the Wickham Sewer District serves Kings Estates, Wickham Village, Wickham Knolls, as well as the old prison property, which is the new tech park. The sewer plant itself is over 40 years old, and the life expectancy of that plant was 30 years. So it is in desperate need for repairs and essentially replacement. So we had initial estimates of $12 to $16 million to do the work that needs to be done in that sewer district, and we immediately started to pursue grants. Try to get grant money because, again, this is not a town-wide fund. So if you live in Pine Island or Greenwood Lake, you do not support in any financial way the Wickham Sewer District. That is independently supported by the users of that sewer district. So we had applied for grants aggressively in 2024, and the grant was rejected because our median household income for the town of Warwick is too high. Now, we knew that this is a water district, this is a sewer district, it's a smaller district that's unique. It's not the large properties and expanse farms that we would typically see throughout Warwick, so the household income might be a little bit different. So we took a gamble and initiated an income survey. Knowing that an income survey and showing that that median household income for that specific sewer district is less than the median household income across the town, which is the only thing that grant agencies have unless you do an income survey. We knew that that would be a little bit less just based on the higher density housing. So we initiated an income survey, and over the last, I believe, 4 to 5 months, we have been sending out mailers, we have been doing Facebook posts, we have been doing door-to-door, we have been doing everything within our power to collect the requisite number of income surveys in order to have a complete package to send into the Census Bureau and change the median household income, the recognized median household income for this specific district. That is the only way that we can qualify for grants, apparently, in the state of New York. Throughout the process, up until about 2 weeks ago, we had a target MHI, median household income, that was higher. It was about $85,000. And then they changed it with the passage of the budget. We got new information. That median household income went down to $78,000. So we had done so much work getting this median household income as complete as we could. We were knocking on doors. We had residents in that district go out, knock on doors, calling friends, investing so much time and so much energy because they realized that if we don't get grants, the work will have to be done. And if we don't get grants, the residents will have to pay the full bill because no matter what, it has to get done. They understood the importance of getting grants. And I can't thank enough the people that went out there and worked their tails off to get us the income surveys, because just tonight we were able to complete the full and comprehensive income survey to get us below the threshold of $78,000, which is absolutely vital in order to get to be successful with grant applications. So I just want to thank everybody that put in a lot of work in getting that done, because it really will make an enormous difference for people's lives, that they don't have to spend their own money when their bills are already piling up. We understand that. It's very difficult to get by, these days. Times are tough, to say the least. So we're going to work very aggressively. We've got some deadlines coming up. That's why it was urgent that we met this Friday's deadline by tomorrow to get all this stuff done. We're going to work very hard to get this round of grant funding, grant applications submitted, and we will keep the board and the public updated on our progress. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers sent a notice to the town of Warwick, sent a notice to me about 3 weeks ago relating to a wetlands mitigation project that is being proposed in the Pine Island area. It is not being proposed by the Army Corps of Engineers, but the Army Corps of Engineers must review and approve these types of plans. And I understand that it sounds noble and it sounds like a really great thing to mitigate wetlands, but what this really means is that you're creating more wetlands in a strictly agricultural area. And what that does is it has an enormous consequence to the neighboring and adjacent properties that are right there that rely and have a livelihood on farming. So the first thing I did as a non-farmer, right, I'm not a farmer, I reached out to the town board members that are farmers, mentioned it to them, and I also reached out to the neighboring farms that are adjacent to that potential wetland mitigation project. Sent it to them. I sent it to the Orange County Soil and Water, which has been working extremely hard over the last many years, establishing the Walk-Hill River watershed as a critical area with flooding, benching, and all kinds of great work to protect the Pine Island region, which relies extensively on farming, but to make sure that the flooding is mitigated. What they want to do is create more flooding in certain areas. And that is completely counterintuitive to what has been done in the Pine Island area over generations, which has created the heart of the black dirt, right? So the town board has reviewed this. We have gotten comment back from Soil and Water, comment back from the adjacent landowners, and we're going to recommend to the Army Corps of Engineers that they deny this application, and at minimum, if they continue to pursue it, have a public hearing right here in Town Hall, so that we can all hear the comments that are of those who are affected by this potential project. So you will hear the resolution. It is in your packets if you have an agenda. You can read the resolution and ask questions about it if you'd like. Just a quick update on PDR. We have the PDR law that the town board is looking to amend with the help of Senator Skoufis and Assemblyman Carl Brabenec. The PDR law will allow us to utilize more of the PDR transfer tax resources to support parks and local parks and stewardship programs, as well as comply with MS4. The only reason that we are allowed to do this, or even were considered to do this, is because the precedence was set by the town of Southampton about 7 years ago. It is very, very difficult, and towns across the state are trying to get PDR programs and CPF fund mechanisms in place, and they're really having a tough time doing that. The town of Warwick is very fortunate that our program was established as essentially a trailblazer back in the late 90s and early 2000s, and we are trying to strengthen that PDR program by evolving with the times and recognizing that there are fewer, not few, but fewer parcels that qualify for the PDR program nowadays. So we're just evolving, adapting, and giving ourselves more opportunity to whatever extent the law permits. This is a very tricky situation in that the law is very specific and does not allow us to use PDR funds for things other than water quality initiatives and parkland, open space, and things like that. We have a couple closings coming up, the Burt Farm as well as the Capone property, and we have 6 active applications before the PDR program right now. We are interested in looking at doing a potential mailing to prospective properties. We have a list of every parcel of land that's 30 acres or more within the town of Warwick, and we are considering doing a mailing to notify people of the PDR program and elicit some interest in the PDR program. As I mentioned before, we conducted 40 interviews over 5 days. One was for Friendly Visitor Program Coordinator, and the other was for 2 detectives, and fortunately we found some really great applicants, and we are going to be hiring a Friendly Visitor Program Coordinator tonight, and we already voted by resolution to appoint the 2 detectives. This Monday is Memorial Day. We have, I had the opportunity to speak at the middle school yesterday. They had an incredible service there for veterans, and one of the things that was very impactful to me was when I realized that the town of Warwick on Memorial Day has something happening in every corner of the town of Warwick. Pine Island has a service at 8 a.m. and then a wreath-laying ceremony at 9 a.m. The Village of Warwick has a parade at 11 a.m. down Oakland Avenue, followed by a ceremony at Veterans Memorial Park. The Village of Florida has a parade and a service beginning at 1 p.m., and the Greenwood Lake American Legion has a service at 2 p.m. Literally something happening in every corner. That is how much we in the town of Warwick respect and appreciate our veterans, and particularly those who sacrificed everything on our behalf. That concludes my report, and at this time we will open it up to privilege of the floor on agenda items specifically. There will be another opportunity on general topics if you wanted to. Okay. All right. Now we'll go into new business and resolutions.
Motion granting permission to the following applicants to serve alcohol at the Town of Warwick parks and rental facilities. All applicants have filed a certificate of liability and liquor liability of insurance in the clerk's office. All applicants listed as below.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to waive the Mountain Lake Park application fee for local nonprofit group Small Things to host a Warwick Food Truck Festival June 5th, 2025 and July 3rd, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to approve payment of $4,000 to Expert Mechanical for yearly plumbing maintenance at Mountain Lake Park Pool House and Cabins.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to appoint the following lifeguards for the 2025 Mountain Lake Park Pool pending Department of Health approval. Listed below, and their pay is listed below also.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. I make a motion to appoint the following to various Pine Island Recreation positions for the 2025 season. The names, the pay rate, as well as the title are listed below. There is one correction for Nancy Scheinert. She will be called Recreation Leader.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to release a performance bond for the Pioneer Subdivision, 1214 Carroll Drive, Section 52, Block 1, Lot 26.24, and Section 52, Block 1, Lot 26.23, for $60,893.95, as per recommendation letter from the town engineer dated May 19th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to accept the resignation of Jaden Rodriguez as a part-time Department of Public Works laborer effective May 27, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to appoint Robert Chicalo as a part-time DPW laborer at a rate of $18 per hour effective May 1st, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to appoint, motion to adopt a resolution to accept the notice of retirement of dial bus driver Peter M. Fergus, effective June 7, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to adopt a resolution to authorize supervisor to sign a renewal agreement to provide part-time police officers to Greenwood Lake Union Free School District from July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026 at a cost borne by the school district.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to appoint Donna Mars as a part-time clerk for the Friendly Visitor Program at a rate of pay of $20 per hour, effective May 23rd, 2025. Civil service, is pending civil service approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with O'Prandy's Fire and Safety for annual inspections and service.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to accept proposal from Downs Forest Products for supply and installation of yards of certified playground mulch in an amount not to exceed $5,040.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. I'm going to read this one. I make a motion on the following resolution. Whereas the Wetland Trust has submitted a permit application to the Army Corps of Engineers, permit application number NAN 2018-00619 UCA M3, that proposes to create mitigation wetlands on two parcels totaling approximately 30 acres in the Town of Warwick Black Dirt region, adjacent to active agricultural operations, and whereas the Town Board for the Town of Warwick has thoroughly reviewed the proposed project, and whereas the Warwick Town Board finds the Wetland Trust's proposed project to be incompatible with and detrimental to the active agriculture surrounding the proposed project area, and whereas the proposed project is within the boundaries of the Wallkill Valley Drainage Improvement District, a formal drainage district organized under the authority of Article 15, Title 19 of New York State Environmental Conservation Law, and the Wetland Trust's 169-page report describing the proposed project does not mention the existence of the drainage district or discuss potential conflicts of their proposed project with the legal requirements or intent of the district, and whereas the Army Corps of Engineers has requested comments on the Wetland Trust proposal as part of its permit review approval process, and said comments are due by May 30th, 2025. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Warwick Town Board opposes the Wetland Trust's creation project and recommends to the Army Corps of Engineers that their permit application be denied, and be it further resolved that the application is not immediately, if the application is not immediately denied, the Town of Warwick hereby requests a public hearing to be held regarding this wetlands mitigation project before the project may proceed further.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to accept bid proposal and authorize the supervisor to sign contract with United Rentals for Mountain Lake Art Center porta potty rentals for a total of 3 months at a cost not to exceed $517.88.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to accept bid proposal and authorize the supervisor to sign contracts with Bristol Industries of Pennsylvania for Mountain Lake Art Center for the purpose of an ADA access ramps and an amount not to exceed $5,949.98.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Did we miss this one?
Yeah.
Motion to authorize the supervisor to retain an alternate planning board attorney to represent the town planning board regarding Sabilla subdivision application due to conflicts of interest.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Motion to accept bid proposal and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Bristol Industries of Pennsylvania for Mountain Lake Art Center, the purchase of ADA access, oh, you did that one already. I'm sorry. See, now I'm off. Motion to accept bid proposal and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract with Jewelry Excavating Incorporated for the Mountain Lake Park water infiltration project in the amount not to exceed $161,000. Did we miss this one? No.
Is that the one that Kevin did? Kevin,
I did Bristol.
You did Bristol.
Yeah,
So that one did not get done.
Right, the
240 did
rent
not get
defense.
done. 240.
motion to accept bid proposal and authorize the supervisor to sign contract with Rent a Fence for Mountain Lake Art Center, construction fence rental industry delivery installation, removal and pickup of construction fence materials at a cost not to exceed $3,784.17.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
243. Motion to accept bid proposal and authorize the supervisor to sign contract from 5 Star for mechanical room at Mountain Lake Park in the amount not to exceed $114,500.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. I can't read any of these because they're authorizing me to do stuff.
Okay, motion to accept and authorize the supervisor to sign a contract bid proposal from Hudson Valley Rubber Wall Waterproofing at Mountain Lake Park in an amount not to exceed $38,750.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Supervisor, I'd like to bring to attention, resolution number 238. We have here for rental for 3 months. I believe that is the price to purchase.
The rental, the porta potty?
Oh, wait, no, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. We're purchasing the ADA ramps.
Yeah, and it's on here as a
Okay.
purchase, yeah.
All right.
Yep, it's good.
Sorry.
No problem. All right. Where are we? Next page. That's it, right? That's it? Did we forget anything? Everybody following along?
I think we got it.
I got it.
Thank you.
I'll make a motion, that we vote on it.
Contract. Yeah, and that's an important one. Yeah, let's just reread that one just in case.
Motion to accept bid proposal and authorize the supervisor to sign contract with Jewelry Excavating Incorporated for the Mountain Lake Park water infiltration project in the amount not to exceed $161,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you, Michael.
Confusing, there's a lot of them.
And it's like you're reading
They
the
all
same
sound
thing
the
over.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back on track here. At this time, we'll open it up to privilege of the floor on any general topic. Folks were here first. I don't know if, did you want to discuss anything? Oh, you're doing the proclamation? Oh, that's right, the proclamation. Remember, we were going to do that.
I don't remember. You didn't tell me.
Oh, man. Yes,
If you told me, I would
I-
have remembered.
I think
What
I
is it
have it.
for?
Yes. Migraine awareness.
No, we gotta take care of our farmers.
I believe I have it. I'm so sorry. This week, the past 2 weeks have been absolutely insane for me, and let me see if I can dig it up. All right, I'm going to look that up. Mr. Abramson, would you like to?
I'm assuming I have to be in this copy.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep. If you turn the mic on and just introduce yourself.
Okay, so, good evening. I've known some of you for quite a while. Tom, both kids in rec. They probably, yours is probably graduated like the other one, but I still have one small one left in the middle school. And I want to say one thing. I'm extremely proud of Warwick and how far we've come. Last Saturday, the kids from Warwick We Wildcats, which is a Special Olympics group in Warwick, went to Goshen, and they got medals, and they did their thing. And it's very nice to see that we are moving in a forward direction for kids with intellectual disabilities. So that was very nice. Piggyback on that, I do have a concern, and I wanted to ask for your assistance on that. You can share that. Thank you. I got one more. So, what I'm asking from the town, I know that we cannot make any rules or anything when it comes to the public school. It's a separate identity. But we all are here, live together. And the school is an important part to the town, and the town is an important part to the school. So with that being said, like, one of the things that I have been very proud of belonging to is Think Differently. I got to know very well Mike Molinaro back in 2019, and I've been working. This is what I call a separate hat, because I am a parent of an intellectual disability child. And so, to me, I'm very passionate on this. So, I wrote something so I wouldn't miss anything or confuse anyone. And this is what I wrote. I call for inclusion on why our children deserve their own club. There is not anywhere in Orange County that there is a club for these kids. The other day, I was astonished at a conversation that I had with a neuro principal at the middle school. So I wanted to use this platform here, although it's not the school board, but as an additional platform to get the information out to our residents. I start by saying, don't stand on the sidelines. Right now we have an opportunity and responsibility to speak up for our kids, who often go unseen, unheard, and left out. We're not asking for special treatment. We're asking for fairness. We're asking for a club just like the Glee Club, just like the Drama Club, that gives our kids a space to build friendship and to feel included and to grow. There is a nationally recognized model called Circle of Friends. It's already working in the public school across the country. In California, it is a student-led club that fosters inclusion between students with and without developmental disabilities. It works, it uplifts, and it builds school culture. So why not here? When a middle school principal says, we do not need a club like that, it sends a message that inclusion is optional. That unless a crowd of parents demands something, it isn't worth doing. That thinking is differently stops at the door. That is not unacceptable, and not in Warwick, and not anywhere. This kind of club would be open to everyone, but would center students who are so often left out. This is about raising the bar. This is about moving the ladder for kids who deserve more than a minimum. To every parent watching, I ask you to speak out. Don't wait until it's your child struggling to belong. If you believe in inclusion, if you believe in fairness, then help us bring this to life. Email the school. Email your local elected official. Write to the principal. Let the district know that we want this, that our kids deserve this, and we're not going anywhere. Let's not let outdated policies or dismissive attitudes decide what's possible for our kids. Let's build something better. There is no reason why we couldn't copy a model that's already up and working somewhere else and establish it here. Who cares if there is not another program like it in Orange County? Let us be the first. I've never been a person that backs down from a challenge. I ran for school board twice. I lost, so what? I'm still here. I remember when I spoke with Michael Sweeney years ago, and he told me, Louis, no, there's no reason why you can't run. State your indifferences, because that's why we're here as American citizens. And I said, yeah, you know, you're right. Let me run. I didn't know even how to put in the ballots or how to do anything. But I knew one thing, that in 2019, I was coming back from driving 3 years solid to Ellenville with a 3-year-old, and the state told me that we had a regional need in our area, meaning that we didn't have enough programming here. And I remember meeting so many parents that had all kinds of needs. And still today we fight for equality. We here in Warwick are considered too well off when our school asks for funding, because, but believe it or not, our special needs have nothing to do with that. We need as much funding as Middletown gets for our kids. But the reality is that we always have to make sure that those who we hire, those who we appoint, don't lose sight that Marco Marinaro did come here, and there was a signed resolution of Think Differently, that we were going to move to continue to champion for these kids. Every single thing that we establish here for people with intellectual disabilities creates a beautiful world for people that have more challenges than us, but they're the same as us. So, to that very person that I am not naming, to tell me what day of the week it is, or to act like I don't know what OPWD is. I've been in Albany. I've worked with Carl Robinick, I worked with Schoolfish, I worked with many folks. And so I know the importance of bringing differences. These clubs, the mechanics is that the student asks for it, someone in the school champions it for it, and they help the child form a group where they all come together. I was told that, oh, this is highly illegal. It's not, because it's open to everyone. It is not in a club that is exclusive to intellectual disabilities. But we have to be kind, because these spaces create friendship, create the ability for these kids to have social skills with kids that are in the mainstream, and there should be no reason why we should have in one single individual be the reason that this is not formed. They asked me, could you bring me evidence of a program like this being held? And I said, no problem. Okay? The other day, my son turned 11, and I saw where pizza party was brought to another child, and we couldn't bring that one thing in. And I didn't know how to explain to him the difference of inequality. But I did know one thing, that I live in Warwick. I will never be moving out of Warwick. And I think that we should make sure that our kids in Warwick are getting the best of the best with every opportunity that they deserve as human beings. So with that being said, thank you so much for this platform. And thank you, and Town Supervisor Dwyer, because I know that this is not something that commonly is presented in the town board, but we all live here. We all strive to do better for our citizens, and although we can't do much but voice our opinions do need to be heard. Thank you.
Thank you, Louis. We appreciate your hard work in working to really get that done. So keep up the good fight. All right, I've got the resolution. I cannot believe that you guys sat through that entire meeting, and I could have just read this. That's so so terrible. It just makes it all that much better. You know, it makes it that much better. Your kids got to see a full town board meeting in action, government at its best, right? Local government. What's better than that? It's fantastic.
You sleep good tonight.
All right. I would like to make a proclamation declaring June 2025 as Migraine and Headache Awareness Month. Whereas headache disorders, including migraine, cluster headache, new daily persistent headache, spinal CSF leak, orofacial pain disorders, and other neurological headache diseases affect more than 40 million Americans and over 1.1 billion people worldwide. And whereas headache diseases are among the leading causes of disability globally, disproportionately impacting women, veterans, and historically marginalized communities, and whereas an estimated 4 million Americans live with chronic migraine, experiencing symptoms 15 or more days per month, yet access to specialized care remains limited, and whereas significant racial and socioeconomic disparities persist, with Black, Hispanic, and Native Indigenous populations facing higher rates of underdiagnosed and inadequate treatment, whereas veterans and military personnel experience higher rates of post-traumatic headache and migraine due to traumatic brain injuries sustained in service, and whereas cluster headache is recognized as one of the most excruciating medical conditions affecting approximately 1 in 1,000 Americans, and whereas there is a severe shortage of headache specialists with fewer than 800 certified headache medicine specialists nationwide, creating significant barriers to care, particularly for rural and underserved communities, and whereas headache diseases place a severe economic burden, costing U.S. companies over $78 billion annually in lost productivity and healthcare expenses, and whereas the symptoms of headache disorders extend beyond head pain, often impacting vision, cognitive function, balance, and daily activities, with attacks lasting hours to days, whereas stigma and misinformation have historically stifled research, treatment, innovation, and public awareness, leaving many patients undiagnosed and untreated. And whereas individuals with headache disorders are at an increased risk for developing depression and suicidal ideations, underscoring the urgent need for comprehensive care and mental health support. And whereas all individuals living with headache diseases deserve equitable, timely, and affordable access to effective treatments to improve their quality of life. Now therefore, I, Jesse Dwyer, Supervisor for the Town of Warwick, do hereby proclaim June 2025 as Migraine and Headache Awareness Month in the town of Warwick, and encourage all citizens, healthcare professionals, and policymakers, including ourselves, to support awareness, research, and improved access to care for all headache diseases. That's pretty good. And we are all impacted by this, and I appreciate you bringing this to our attention. Of course, my pleasure. All right, is there any other privilege of the floor? Anyone else would like to comment? All ready to go home and go to sleep? Me too. All right, our next meeting will be Thursday, June 12, 2025, at 7 p.m. right here in Town Hall. A workshop may be as early as 5:30 p.m., which is always open to the public. I make a motion that we adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all very much for coming tonight. We'll see you at the next one.